Welcome to WagerTalk TV. This video is sponsored by uwager.eu. Get a 50% sign-up bonus when using promo code WT50 when signing up. This offer is exclusive to WagerTalk. Guys, I'm Kelly Stewart, joined by Sports Cheetah at Sports Cheetah on Twitter, Preston Johnson, and Marco D'Angelo at Marco in Vegas. All right, let's talk about an interesting game here. Chargers at New England. There's another video where I told a funny story where we thought this line was going to be a lot higher. So when it opened at 4.5, I was going, whoa, that's a lot of respect for this Chargers team. And I'm not disrespecting them here, but you have to put into account Brady and Belichick's record at home in the playoffs as favorites. I mean, this team has just been so dominant over the years in Foxborough. It's scary to step in front of that freight train. Preston, I'll start with you.
I will say they are a lot older than they were years ago when they were a lot better at home in Foxborough in the playoffs. They just aren't as good as an entire team this season. And you look on the other side, I know a lot of people thought the Ravens defense and even the Bears to an extent were going to keep them in games and give them a chance. And, sure enough, the elite defenses are already out of the playoffs. And you need to be able to have an offense. We talk about the Chiefs, the Rams, the Saints that can fly with everyone. Well, the Chargers are the only team, I think, that has a top-tier defense and offense. And they led the NFL in net rating as far as opponent yards per play and their yards per play. They were like plus 1.2 per play, which led the NFL. The Steelers were actually second in the NFL. And so you have a team that actually can defend and is actually pretty efficient through the air, on the ground, the most well-rounded team. Straight neutral field, I think this should be Chargers' slight favorite. So I don't think the number is high, and you've heard a lot of media people like, wow, how is Tom Brady and Bill Belichick only laying, now it's 4 at home? And so you make that point, and everyone's asking that question. But, I mean, the numbers, the metrics, everything for me, I think this should be more like a 2.8 to 3.
So even if it gets to 3.5, it's still play on the Chargers?
I mean, there's that decreases your value a ton. If you're betting plus 4 versus plus 3.5, there's going to be, like 4.8% of the time you're not winning or pushing instead. Now you're losing.
Okay.
So, I mean, that changes drastically betting plus 5 or plus 4.5 even earlier in the week. So, for me, I do like the Chargers, though. That was the side I bet. It's the only one I've actually bet this weekend. And I think they just are kind of undervalued, which is weird for a team that I think is kind of getting the connotation of being a public underdog. And now New England's kind of the contrarian side at home. So there's like this mixed bag of feelings. But I think, the number deserves to be lower, and the Chargers are the right side, I think. All
right, Marco, your opinion on this game?
Well, I agree with the Chargers. They are got a lot of hurdles to jump here. This is a team that's playing their third straight road game and actually fourth in the last 5 weeks. That's tough for any team. But as we've joked or actually said, you consider where they play at. They play basically on the road every week.
Well, and this is a team that's 8-1 straight up on the road and against the spread. I mean, it's almost at their advantage to be on the road this year.
But nobody wants to travel East Coast to West Coast, back to East Coast again. That's a little bit of a problem. But this is a team, I'm more against New England than I am with the Chargers, and that sounds weird. This is not the same New England team that we've seen in years past, not even close. And people, don't forget, they finally established a deep threat with Josh Gordon. Him and Brady were getting a good rapport going down the stretch, and then he has the relapse, whatever he's done for the season. They're going to miss him. Gronk is not 100%. He hasn't been 100% all year. That's the other weapon that they don't have this year. I just don't see them stretching this Charger defense. And I agree. You look about being able to move the football for the Chargers. Offensively, the number 5 team in the league at 6.4 yards per play. Defensively, they're number 7, allowing 5.6. I'm old school. You give me the better defense, getting points, and playing well right now. This is the best team that Phillip Rivers has had in the playoffs, period, in his career. And you look, they played here last year. They lost by 8. That game could have went either way. They had an opportunity in that game to get the tying score with the 2-point conversion. I look for them. They definitely are a better team this year, and New England's gone the other way from last year. I like the Chargers.
I asked this in another video real quick, Preston. I just want to see what any stock you put into it. They're saying rain, possible snow if it's cold enough in New England. So a lot of people are saying that does favor New England. Someone in another video disagreed. Your thoughts on maybe the weather coming into place if there's no wind, just pure rain or snow?
Yeah, generally, if there's rain and snow and it's wet and it's tougher to throw the ball, you'd think that would bode well for the Chargers' run game, which I think's more efficient than the Patriots. The Patriots have had 2 weeks to prepare to defend the Chargers' run game, so there's some there. I think it would favor slightly the Chargers, though, if it really came down to where you couldn't throw.
I just think a lot of people look into a West Coast team like, oh my God, like they've never played outdoors before, and I think they put too much stock into it.
I mean, they've been playing football their entire lives. I don't think one game in a playoff they all of a sudden won't be able to, deal with some rain or whatever. So, and it might be cold, but they've done that before. Real quick, I'll say before we close this, Anthony Lynn probably had the best game plan last weekend of any coach. The way he played 7 safeties or 7 defensive backs, no linebackers. They've picked out there's a guy for the Ravens offensive line, Stanley, who was giving off if it was a run or pass based on his left foot. They saw in game film the week before. And the defense is phenomenal. They put in so much work. I just trust him to figure out a way to attack the Patriots the best they can. And you're not going to get a bad effort from San Diego.
I'm not a fan
Los
of it.
Angeles.
I'm not a fan of his goal line offense, though.
Well, no one does that. Bama did it twice on Monday night, where they just run it into a pile 3 times.
All right,
Put
so
all 22 guys
one day,
right in one
one
yeah.
day.
is it okay? So either one of you, is it worth a money line sprinkle, as our buddy VR would say?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, awesome stuff, guys. This video was sponsored by WagerTalk. Get a 50% sign-up bonus when using promo code WT50 when signing up.